So, yeah, today we will be talking about the REST APIs. And whenever we have a requirement to consume a REST API through PI, so how do we do the developments of the PI objects? So, this will be the focus of this video. Before going to that, we need to know that how does a API work. So, on this screen, you can see that I have opened the developers program of ebay.com. So ebay.com provides a list of APIs from where you can consume the services. So I have created an account for a developer account on ebay.com, and then I'll go to the developer sandbox, enter sandbox, and test the APIs. Yeah. So I've logged in into the sandbox system, and as you can see that we have an option to select the environment here, and uh, I have configured this part, which I'm not going to show here, but this is how you register your application inside the sandbox, and here is where you are going to select the API. So there are category of APIs, and in that category, I have, let's say I have chosen browse API. Okay, and inside that browse API category, I am choosing for normal search. So this is going to give me the search result of the items which I want to search. Okay, so for accessing any APIs, you need authentication, uh, the authentication to be done. This authentication process happens via token, and there are several ways to authenticate an API. For this one, we are going with the OAuth, which is the standard authentication process and which is supported by the eBay APIs. If you can see, whenever I put, whenever I click the get OAuth authentication application token, I get this token. Using this token, I can access this API, this search API. So this is the service URI endpoint, and this is where we are going to, let's say this, here we are searching for drone, and the limit, the number of search result which I should get is 3. So instead of going for drone, if I go for computers and hit execute, so this is the response which I'll get. So the status code is 200 OK, and the time taken is 776 millisecond. So 200 status means we have got a correct response and our request call was successful. If you see here in the response body, we have got a JSON file, and in that JSON file, we are going to get the details of our search result. So if you can see, we have got here computer, we have got the summaries of different items, and the limit here is 3. So this is the item summaries and item ID, title. So this is how the response looks like. Now our aim is to consume this. Right now what we did is that we consume the API by the UI given by eBay sandbox system. Now whenever there is a the real life application, what happens that one organization tries to consume the eBay consumes the API hosted by another service provider. Let's say that your organization is doing a business with Flipkart. So in order to get the search result, get any sort of information from Flipkart, you are going to consume their APIs. For another example, which we can take here, is that for Twitter, Facebook, generally company looks into the feedback which is given by the customer on these kinds of social media platforms. So what happens that to get the the data that what kind of feedback a company is getting, companies go and company build their application and hit these APIs and take out the report that how many positive feedbacks customers have given, how many negative feedbacks, and what are their concerns. They get all these data through consuming the Facebook API or Instagram API or Twitter API. So this is the use case. Here we will be using a REST to REST scenario, which means that we'll be from PI we will be hitting the eBay API using a REST adapter, and this will be on the receiver side. Now on the sender side we are going to expose this ICO through as a REST API itself. So what we are going to do that in the sender side also we will use the REST adapter, and we are going to create the endpoint which will which will help us in exposing this entire end-to-end process. So we'll go hit the eBay API, we'll get back the result and give it back to the calling application. In this case, the calling application will be Postman. Now, for Postman, we can directly consume the eBay API from Postman as well. But I want to show you that how we consume the APIs in SAP PI. That's why I'm making this ICO. Okay. And the flexibility which SAP gives us, that whatever result we are going to get back, we can modify that result. We can do the XML transformation from just JSON. We can convert it into XML and do the mappings and do the transformation as per our need. So this is end-to-end process, and here is the list of the objects that I'm going to create. So the sender and receiver interface, I am making it a pass-through scenario, which means that there will be no mapping and we are going to directly hit the API and get back the result as it is. And I'll show you that we can convert it into JSON or we can leave the result as it is. So these are the object list which will be created.